What's going on, everybody? If you're new to this channel and you enjoy this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Ring the bell. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to take a trip down memory lane and we're going to talk about probably my favourite YouTube boxing event of all time. And that, of course, is KSI versus Logan Paul 1. So out of all of the YouTube boxing events, who remembers the date of any of them? Because the only one that I remember is this one.
August 25th, August 25th, August 25th. You'll know August 25th. August 25th, you'll know. August 25th is going to be the best. August 25th.
August 25th! August 25th! August 25th!
Alright, so the reason why this is the best boxing event we've had so far is because this was strictly YouTube. And I don't know what it was about it, it just had like that community spirit of what makes YouTube great. Everybody on this platform was talking about this event because it was it just was massive. I'm not sure if it is now, but at the time it was the biggest and most successful YouTube event in history. It had 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, which is just mad. Remember YouTube versus TikTok that happened like a few months ago? That whole event failed and they only got like 200,000 pay-per-view buys because people that watch TikTok don't really care about the creators as much as we care about YouTubers. There's like a more personal feel with YouTube, and this whole event just summarized that. Now, in all honesty, this is the only YouTube boxing fight that I've ever paid for. I've never paid for Jake Paul's fights or anything like that. I remember when I watched this fight, I was on my friend's sofa and it was late at night, you know, I was having a couple of drinks and I was just having such a good time. It was so good. At the time, I had no idea like what made a good boxer, but you know, the thing is I have to give this event credit because this is the event that actually got me into boxing, and it's the reason why I've tried to learn so much about boxing, because this event interested me. So I give all the credit to this one event. But at the time, I was just super excited to see all these YouTubers battle it out. I remember specifically that feeling when I was watching Jake versus Deji, and when Deji lost, I was like, no. I was gutted. But, you know, I'm not going to talk about that. I will eventually make a video talking about all of Jake Paul's fights, and obviously I'm going to talk about Deji, so I'm not going to touch too much on that. This video I'm going to be focusing on JJ versus Logan. Now here's the crazy thing, I didn't really know too much about Logan Paul. I didn't really know who he was until this event, which is pretty crazy. But despite that, I kind of wanted him to beat JJ because this was around the time around 2018 was when I was like, okay, I'm not really on team KSI anymore. Like, I didn't like how he treated Joe Weller, and I didn't like all the arrogance and that, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I don't like KSI anymore. So 2018 is basically where I kind of changed my mind on JJ. But on that night when I was watching this fight, I think one of the things that made this event so good is because I actually cared about the undercards. The thing is with most fights, there's a bunch of names on it which you're not really that interested in. You're just interested in the headlining fight. But with this event, I watched every single fight and I was loving it. With all the undercard fights, like, it just built up and it just had like that great vibe. And if you love YouTube as much as I do, you probably felt that feeling when we was watching it together. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just such a good night. Like, August 25th, it had such a great vibe. Like, just think of all of the build up for these fights. Like, remember the diss tracks. Like, KSI released On Point, which in my opinion is probably one of the best diss tracks, like visually and sounds wise. It's not the best for dissing, but like, I remember when JJ released it and I was like, oh shit, that is hard. Like, it actually sounded really good, and I don't really like JJ's music, it's not my cup of tea, but On Point was an exception. It was a masterpiece. It was brilliant. And then obviously Logan released his diss track, which, you know, you can tell that it was rushed. It just wasn't even close to On Point. Like, remember the press conferences, like where Logan like walks off stage, and then you got it where all the chavs were like throwing stuff at Logan Paul, and even one of them hitting Greg Paul, Logan's dad. Like, it was mad. There was so much like hype and build up for this fight, and no YouTube boxing event has come even close to this. Oh yeah, and then remember there was, and like, yeah, and there was stuff like, remember when True Geordie and Logan had their beef? Like, and then them settling it, like it was more than just the boxing. Like, so much happened, and if you look back at it, I wouldn't be surprised if you think, yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it was. All I'm saying is we definitely need an event just like this. We need a YouTube only event, because this one was so good. Here's the thing, there's no reason why it couldn't happen. Jay Swingler says he's down to fight again. Gibb would fight anybody, anytime. I mean, get Deji back in there, because that's essentially why he's gone missing off the internet, because he wants to, prove himself in boxing. I mean, hey, get Slim in there, get Austin McBroom, Landon McBroom, like, it's easily doable. But anyway, let's just stop talking about the whole event. Let's get down into specifics. So let's talk about when Logan walks into the ring. Now, his ring walk was alright. For me, I think this was Logan's best outfit. I think he looked great. Like, imagine what it felt like for Logan in there. Like, imagine the emotions in that arena when he's looking around at, I think it was like 20,000, 25,000 people, or however much it was. Like, all of them people were there, who were basically just Team KSI. Like, could you imagine what that felt like? And then obviously JJ comes out with On Point, it's just the complete opposite. Like, he's there thinking, yeah, everyone here, you all love me, you're all on my side. Like, it was complete contrast in emotions. And, Joe Weller, True Geordie, and Lawrence McKenna, who smashed it on the commentary. Like, they made it exciting. They did a great job. And when the first round started, the world just wasn't prepared. Everyone watching was on the edge of their seats. Nobody was expecting Logan to come out so strong. He was just toying with JJ. Like, Logan was faster. Logan's defense was really good considering how little time he had to train. JJ was just soaking it all up, probably getting pissed off a little bit, but he didn't let it get to his head too much. And the first round was amazing because it was just so exciting. The world was shocked, as this was the first person to ever stand up to JJ in that way and basically say, What are you saying, bitch? Round 2 was pretty much the exact same thing. Logan was just dominating JJ and everything. There was no competition. When Logan was fresh, he was the far superior boxer. JJ couldn't deal with the jab. He just couldn't. Every time he got close to Logan, Logan countered. At this point, everyone was sat at home thinking, yeah, I think JJ's lost this. But when round 3 comes, you can just tell that Logan is not on it as much as he was in the first 2 rounds. He really does slow down and he really starts to fade. And you notice that when you re-watch it. Like, it's bad how quickly he faded. JJ, however, is literally exactly the same. Like, he hasn't faded one bit. He's just completely normal. It's actually mental. He's still light on his feet and he's ready for action. And this is when JJ won his first round. Round 4 starts off strong. They both rough each other up, however it doesn't last long. JJ continues to be light on his feet, dominates Logan, and he just still hasn't faded. It's crazy. Logan starts bending over as he's exhausted, and Logan knows that he's getting fucked up. And that's when the fight becomes dirty. This is the round where the famous scene where Logan gets JJ up against the ropes. And this is just overall another strong round 1 for JJ. Round 5, Logan comes out strong. However, it evens out and it does become pretty even again. Logan does get his second wind and tries his hardest to put JJ down, but it just doesn't happen. There isn't too much to comment on about this round, as they both got tired and really slowed the pace down. However, Logan won that round purely because he got his second wind, and he definitely did land more punches than KSI. Round 6, the final round. This round is famous because this is where Logan Paul was clinging on for dear life. JJ won this round 100%. They were both fatigued, however JJ's heart really came through and it showed, and he pushed himself despite him being just so done. By JJ obviously being so tired, his heart pushed him through and he easily got him the victory for this round. But the end result of this fight was a draw. Now, I remember back in 2018 where this fight caused a bit of controversy. A lot of people were saying that the fight was rigged. However, after I rewatched this, I'm just going to say that it was 100% a draw. It didn't win either way for either of these guys, because at the end of the day, they both won 3 rounds. A lot of people were saying that KSI beat Logan because obviously in the 6th round, Logan was done. However, you know, you got to also think, okay, JJ had that 1 round where he was extremely dominant and Logan was basically getting his ass whooped. But the same thing happened with Logan in rounds 1 and 2. So it is pretty even. There's no question though, if it was 8 rounds, JJ would have 100% won that fight. So Logan kind of got lucky with this one. Best way to finish this is I'm just going to say that this is definitely one of my most favourite fights of all time. Because the whole event, the whole atmosphere, it was just perfect. I can't fault it one bit. Plus at the time I was pretty drunk, so I was probably enjoying it a bit too much. But hey, when I look back at it, it's nothing but fond memories and I don't regret paying for it. If I paid for any of the other events that have happened after, I'd probably want to I'll be putting /refund in the chat. Overall, it was a really good event and I'm happy that I was able to see it live and, you know, experience it. Alright, so let me know in the comments down below what your favourite event was out of all of the YouTube boxing fights. And if you stuck around all the way to the end, comment down below, cheese melts when it's cold. Alright everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.